Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris and today is December 1st and I thought I would do something of a first, and that doing a perfume tray. Perfumes that I am planning on wearing for the month of December. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I do not know what perfume I'm going to be wearing tomorrow. It all depends on lots of different things. That's just how my brain works. It depends on the weather, what I'm wearing, am I dressed up, am I dressed down, etc. I have a fairly good idea the type of fragrances or the particular fragrances I will be wearing for the month of December. Like all months, I'm always testing a new discovery set or doing a decant trade or swap with someone, so I'm always in the process of testing something new, but I have some go-tos. I have some hard and fast go-tos that I always go to, or I know I'm going to be going to in the month of December. And with that, let's just get started. How about I start with my scent of the day? It is a Bond No. 9 fragrance, and this is called Governor's Island. For those of you who like a molecular style perfume, namely Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume, and Molecule 01, this is in that realm. To me, this is kind of like the older sister or the older brother, if you will, of Not a Perfume. It has that background molecular vibe, but it's just a warmer, darker, maybe woodier version. I know this has woods and it has incense. It's not an overly incensey perfume and it's not an overly woody perfume. It takes that molecular vibe and moves into more of a warm, cozy area. My daughter has borrowed indefinitely my Not a Perfume, which is fine. I actually prefer this version more. This is more me. And in line with a type of molecular perfume, it tends to behave differently on different people. For example, my daughter says she cannot smell Not a Perfume on her, and I can smell it like upstairs and down the hall. To me, it's very, very strong. Similarly, I wore this today, and like hour 6 or 7, I got off work early, so I went to the post office. It was like hour 7 of this perfume. I thought the fragrance was long gone. And as soon as I walked into the post office and handed my package, the person behind the desk said, "Wow, you smell amazing." And I was like, "Really? You can smell me?" She said, "Yes, it's very warm and cozy." So right when you think you can't smell it or you've become anosmic to it, someone else is going to pick it up. But it's never offensive. It's never in anybody's face. It's on the light side. And that why, and for that reason, I think it's a perfect work scent. And to me, this reads more colder weather. The next one, I know I'm going to wear one of my favorite fragrances for the cold months, is Gris Charnel. Now this is the Extrait version. I actually prefer this version more. They share a lot of the same notes. The differences to me is in the dry down. This one is woodier, it's spicier, and it has more of a vanillic presence in the dry down. I pick up the most beautiful sweet vanilla that borders on being gourmand, but it doesn't quite get there. So it is a vanilla, it is a spicy, woody vanilla. It still has the fig, it still has a fig, still has the tea, the other notes, but this is the version that I prefer. And there is just something about this fragrance. This is a compliment getter. I've been stopped in the gym, like at my locker, and everybody at work when I wear it absolutely loves this. Again, I'm a little bit light on the trigger because this one does project a little bit more, but one of my favorite perfumes to wear in the colder months right here. The next one almost was my scent of the day because today is a really cold, rainy day, and this is like my cold weather rainy day fragrance, and that's why I'm in this warm, cozy sweater. I know a lot of you like it when I dress up and wear some snazzy tops, but I just could not get warm today. In fact, my fingertips are still freezing cold. I'm tired. I stayed up till 1 in the morning last night and got like 5 hours of sleep, and I'm planning on 4 videos. So I just wanted to be cozy and warm because it is a cold, rainy, overcasty day. You know, the type where you just feel like you can't ever get warm. And this is my fragrance that I turn to. It is called Behind the Curtain by Trussardi. This is a leather perfume. So this is one of the first leather fragrances that I actually fell in love with. This is leather, ambery, labdanum, and spices. The spices here being, I want to say clove and maybe saffron. And this has a little bit of woodiness in the base, but it just screams cold weather. In fact, when I've worn this to work, people say you smell cozy, you smell like Christmas. So it does have those Christmassy spices, but with a heavy dose of, in my opinion, an easy leather, a labdanum, which is a leathery amber, leather sandalwood, and patchouli. I absolutely love this. It's not going to be for everybody, but it was one of my most successful blind buys of last year, and I got it on Joma Shop, and it was like $79, $80, and it's a big 3.4 ounce bottle. I absolutely love it. The next one is going to be, I know I'm going to wear this Christmas Eve. This has been my Christmas Eve perfume for, I think, 3 years. It's one of the only incense fragrances that I could wear in the warmer weather, even though I don't wear incense perfumes in the summer at all. It just doesn't feel like an incensey time of the year. But a couple years ago, we had a warm snap during the week of Christmas, and it was actually like in the 50s or 60s here, which is warm for that time of the year. Like I said, it's 30s right now. And this worked out great, and it is called Cardinal, which is probably why I choose this for my night before Christmas fragrance. I usually wear this red velvet suit and I go to midnight mass, and it just all seems to go. If you've been following me, you know I like to wear incense, but I really love to wear incense in December. I don't know what it is. It kind of just gets me in the mood for the season, and incense and Christmas just go hand in hand. This is not super smoky of an incense. This is one of the more green and fresher types of incense. And incense is anything that you burn for a smell. So you can burn a stick of wood, that's incense. You can burn leaves, those are incense. So before incense is burned, I refer to that as cold. And when it's burning or after it's burned, that to me is hot or warm incense. This is on the cold side. This is incense right before it's been burned or smoked for, you know, some sort of service. It also has, I want to say it has cotton or linen in here, which lends that little bit of freshness. So Cardinal, I will definitely be wearing this month and absolutely the week of Christmas. Okay, the next perfume totally reminds me of Christmas and the colder weather, because I initially discovered this Christmas shopping down in Chicago. Like the first week of December, I fell in love with it. It was right when it came out. It was astronomically expensive. And then I think a year later, the price really dropped and I picked it up, and it is Bond number 9, New Bond Street. This was the first nutty perfume I fell in love with. This is a milky, nutty, peppery, patchouli, sweet perfume. It's a very toasty perfume, so it's like a toasted chestnut. It's like a toasted chestnut meets milk with a little bit of pepper and patchouli. It is just absolutely delicious. It has a lot of sandalwood in the dry down, which lends to that warm creaminess. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a love or a hate. This is one of the least safe blind buys possible, but it is a love for me. And one of my friends says that this smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I do get that in the dry down, but it is a spectacular perfume that I love to wear in Christmas, and I pretty much stopped wearing it in March. It's a cold weather perfume for me. Okay, speaking of Christmas memories, this next perfume is totally a Christmas memory to me. It is called Teisenddu by Frassai, and this to me smells like Amish friendship bread that my mother used to make all the time during the month of December. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, it is a spiced bread. It is a sweet spiced bread. So imagine Amish friendship bread, add a little bit of rum, add a little bit of like an orange rind at the top, some brown sugar and leather in the dry down. This is a gateway gourmand. I would call this a gateway gourmand because it's not overly foody. In fact, the leather in the background keeps it from being way too sweet. But there's definitely a gourmand aspect to it, and in the background there's also some like evergreen or woody note that anchors it as well. But a delicious, fun perfume I love to wear in the month of December because it just reminds me of the things that are baking and wafting in the air during that time. And if you have ever tried or tasted Amish friendship bread, let me know below. And I'm thinking about creating a starter batch in the next 2 weeks, but Teisenddu. So the next perfume I'm going to be wearing, I'm going to get out my dabber because I want to smell it. This smells so good, is the one perfume from Dries Van Noten that I picked up this year. Surprisingly, it wasn't Soie Malacé like everyone else got. When I did the discovery set, this is what I was immediately drawn to. This is so yummy. So this is a spicy, resinous, peppery amber with some green woody undertones. and a teensy bit of an animalic funk for just a bit. I only get that animalic funk in the very beginning. It burns off, and then I'm left with the most amazing, warm, resinous, peppery, incensey, ambery perfume. The incense in here is myrrh, thus the name. And it's just so incredibly delicious and has the most amazing sillage. It's very warm, it's very addictive, slightly spicy, and on me like has terrific lasting power. There are a lot of gems in that discovery set, and this one is going to get a lot of airtime in December. I'm moving along quickly, seeing that I'm planning on filming 4 videos. We'll see what actually happens, but one I haven't talked about in a long time, which is, for me, a lifer, is Ivory Rude. I just absolutely adore this perfume. This is a spicy, woody perfume with a sneaky vanilla. It's got a little bit of a mentholy opening along with some heavy spices. That mentholy note, I don't know where it comes from, maybe. I think there's basil in here, patchouli. That doesn't last forever, but the dry down is absolutely spectacular. It's a spicy sandalwood with a very quiet vanilla. It doesn't have vanilla listed, and this is not a gourmand at all, but it has this really lovely, this really likable or lovely, deftly done vanilla. And that's why I always thought that this was a great gateway vanilla, because it does not smell like food, but it has the nicest hint of a vanillic touch. And this is, I'm telling you, my friends who love these floofy floral perfumes surprisingly love it when I wear this. So it's a great one. An oldie but a goodie that I have been wearing for years and years and years, even before I started my channel, is this one by Boucheron, Ambre de Alexandra. This, in addition to the Hermes Amber Narguilé. I got that as a gift years and years ago. I think that from Pat, which was a very special gift. I think these two share a lot of similarities. They're in that boozy apple pie, they're in that apple pie, boozy apple pie, tobacco-y apple pie, that genre. And I'm going to be filming an entire video based on perfumes that have that smell or that scent profile. This is right at the top for me, maybe because it's nostalgic. I've had it for so long. It reminds me of Christmas. It reminds me of the colder weather. Every time I wear it, someone says, "Oh, you smell so good. You smell like an apple pie." We had a guest from the Netherlands last year. My daughter actually chose this as her Christmas perfume, and he was walking around and said, "It smells so good in here. It smells like an apple pie." My daughter will come into my room and say, "Mom, I want to smell like apple pie. Where's that perfume?" Well, now I have several, but this is the one that she's talking about. The notes change from perfume to perfume, but this is amber and resins and tobacco. With vanilla, they come together to form this delicious apple pie. It's like a boozy apple pie in here, even though I do not think like booze is officially in the name, but Alber de Alexandra is going to get some wearing this December. Okay, I'm just going to end with the last 2, and these are 2 that I know I plan on wearing this December. The next one is pretty much my snow day perfume, and it is Incense Suave. This is a very heavy, rich, this is a gourmand incense. It's very sweet. The incense is very strong. It has a nice, to me, it has a nice woodiness in the background. There's coffee in here. The incense is strong. The vanilla is strong. Coffee's in the background. Wood's in the background. It is an absolutely delicious incense. I think this was a big hit a couple years ago because for an incense fragrance, it's a gourmand, so it's much more likable, particularly with that whopping dose of vanilla. Some people might think it's a little bit too sweet. That's why I only wear it in the cold. It is like a great perfume to wear when you're snuggling, wearing a big sweater, it's snowing, you have a snow day. I absolutely love it. And the last one I'm going to be wearing is another leather perfume, but it's one of the most interesting and unique leather fragrances in my collection. It's called Cuero, and it is by Boyd's of Texas. I actually, even though I don't live in Texas anymore, I still have a subscription to Texas Monthly just to kind of see what's going on. One day I was flipping through the pages, saw this really cool local artisan who had this jewelry that was being advertised or showcased in the magazine. And the next page over was an article on Boyd's of Texas. They are a fragrance line that does natural perfumes, or cleanly formulated perfumes. Their perfumes, or at least this one, was in collaboration with the lifestyle brand, I'm blanking on the name, and a very famous homemade leather goods store called Stash down in the Texas Hill Country. If you want one-of-a-kind leather goods like leather bags, leather satchels, leather purses, check them out. But together they collaborated, came up with this perfume for Boyd's of Texas, and it's a super interesting take on a Russian leather. So it's the southwestern version of a modern Russian leather. So being that it is Texas, there is a burst of citruses in the top. I want to say grapefruit, maybe orange. Some light florals, like non-specific florals. I don't know what the flowers, I would guess like, I don't know, it's a dusty white flower. The perfume has a dustiness to it, a pleasant dustiness. And maybe it's the vetiver. Maybe it's the vetiver that I'm getting in the dry down. It's dry and dusty. It has a little bit of smoke. Labdanum, of course, leather, because cuero means leather in Spanish. So it's dry, powdery, slightly floral, a little bit citrusy in the top, spicy, and a really nice dry leather with a touch of smoke, like fine leather goods leather. I wore this just to test it out. One day I wore it to work, and I was totally shocked the people around me enjoyed it. I thought this might be a hard sell or something that's not universally pleasing. And when I asked people, what do you like about it? It's fresh. It smells nice. It's light, fresh. It smells pretty. I get a lot of the leather, but the other notes, the other floral notes, and the fresh citruses give this dimension, body, and uniqueness. So that's just an overview of 10 or 11 of the perfumes I guarantee I know I'm going to be wearing in the month of December, in addition to many, many more. Other perfumes I will be wearing, I am going to show you in upcoming videos, which will be filmed in about 5 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. Cut off at the very end for blabbing too long without a break. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed your time with me. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. I'd love to hear about your December favorites or what's on your December perfume tray. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.